Looks like Curtis the Cunning Jackson strikes again. 50 Cent is really trying to violate the entire industry like it's 2004, with him not backing down from completely obliterating his opponents. It's making people question what is crossing the boundary in online controversy. 50 Cent has exposed conversations with landlords, and it's all bad. I'm not sure how 50 even got these connections, but NYC will always be 50 Cent's playground. He probably knew a guy who knew a guy. Now, I'm not sure exactly what's the next chess move that's going to be played moving forward. This is a plot twist. I was not expecting this. I thought he was just trolling at first. You know what I'm saying? When I was just reporting on the last video that 50 Cent was calling them squatters and bums that owed $250,000 in rent, that number was so under money. It was so specific.
You've got mail.
That only someone who was directly involved in the business could have told someone who knew exactly how much they owed. For you to claim that you're going to buy 50% of someone's podcast, that's a very specific threat. You know what I'm saying? Like I always say, 50 is a student of the laws of power. And although it was a smart move, it was a power move. I suspected it was a bluff, but turns out 50 Cent is more cunning than you thought. He has been in contact with Jim's landlord and has been working with him the whole entire time. This situation just took a serious turn. The landlord involved is now claiming he doesn't just own the building where the podcast is filmed. He also owns 50% of the podcast itself. So yesterday, 50 Cent posted a message saying, yo, so Jim, why the 200K over? At first glance, it sounded like things were being handled and Jim might actually be shaping up to be a solid tenant. But then 50 Cent followed it up by dropping a name that so many people quickly connected to Jim Jones' landlord. He said, Samuel, if you ever need me to make them pay, just give me a ring. I'm here. A lot of them assumed 50 Cent was just trolling or bluffing. That theory did not last long. See, this morning 50 Cent released a voicemail of Samuel, the landlord who owns the building. And according to him, he owns 50% of the podcast company and it's up for sale. Here's what he said.
I want to rent it. And I said, okay, fine. Right? He's been saying this for since October. And so he keeps trying to build it, but he won't sign the lease. He's like, I don't like these terms. I want 6 months of build out and ridiculous bullshit. We also have a partnership agreement where half of what he's building now, his media, belongs to us. But he won't tell us how much he's making and doing all these things. So half of the content he's creating, if you want to buy that too, I'll sell you half the company. He's not a business. He's insane. To me, it's worth very little to nothing. But if it works out for you, I just throw that in as a sweetener. Okay, so what I'm trying to say is he signed a lease with me. Right now he owes, I'm going to say it in a short way, at least $80,000, if not $180,000. The monthly rent on the old lease, not this.
This whole situation is crazy. This is a low down dirty move by Curtis the Cunning Jackson, but it was necessary. It was necessary. This only goes to show you that 50 Cent is a habitual line stepper. He tends to float in the territory that can be interpreted as nothing other than intimidation. When you get the landlord who owns this space to speak on the phone about offloading not just your property but your actual operation, this is not only elite trolling, this is entertainment warfare. It may be just content, but this is the habitual behavior I'm speaking about in regards to 50 Cent. He tends to step over not only lines, but boundaries. This is the type of stuff that Mr. 50 Cent tends to partake in. He was actually excited to do this. This is what makes it so cunning. Clearly, the tension between Jim Jones and the property owner didn't just start yesterday. That's obvious. And it seems that the landlord was putting smut on Jim and Maino name for a minute now. Nothing spreads faster in New York than bad business. It'll be a New York minute by the time everybody knows that you don't got it. You don't have the money. This explains why 50 Cent was so bold. He's been speaking like someone who already knew the inner workings of what was going on, but floating around the idea of selling it to 50 so he could take control is preposterous. Come on, like, let's really take a second to think for ourselves and not how 50 Cent wants us to think. Because you gotta understand, to a certain degree, 50 Cent is trying to shape a narrative. Let me be clear. Entering any arrangement where the owner of the building also controls half of your brand makes no sense from a business standpoint. Why would Jim Jones and Maino and whoever owns it sign for that? You know what I'm saying? And if you think about it, not for nothing, if you paying $200,000 at a time to a warehouse studio in New York City, like damn, how much does that even go for rent per month? The studio, they haven't even been in the studio for that long. You know what I'm saying? $200,000. If he's wiring over $200,000, that can't be renting. Those things rents for like what, 20K, 50K a month? Made 30, 20. Come on, like how long they been doing it for? I could be wrong though. Although all I know is that these niggas from the Wrap It Up podcast been in the industry for a minute now. I'm sure they understand the power of owning their own business, and I highly doubt they're just gonna give it over to some landlord. I might be wrong, but I might have to call cap on this one.
Stop the cap.
If those claims are accurate, it's a deal that benefits no one involved. Maino told TMZ that if anyone were to make a move on the podcast, it would have to go through him because he says he's the only one who holds ownership. A couple hours ago, these guys had a Christmas party at their podcast space. Maino and Jim Jones had a laugh at Vincent calling them squatters.
We the motherfucking squatters, nigga. Yeah. We out here squatting.
Yeah, I don't know. I could be wrong, but he looks a little salty to me. I know he heard about the narrative going around, but in all realness, this is a bad look for the landlord as well. I'm sure once the money is settled, lawsuits are going to be filed. Because how lawful is any of this? I'm not a lawyer by any stretch of the means, but I'm not even sure as a landlord if it's legal to disclose your tenant's financial information. Niggas is on personal phone calls talking about how much you owe. Like, this is crazy. So I'm thinking to myself, if you were Jim Jones and Maino, what's your next move? You really can't make a move right now because you just wired over 200,000. Everything is at the studio. It just started off. So do you now threaten legal action against your landlord? I mean, that would make the most sense. I could only imagine that this is gonna add more tension to an already tense situation. I'll keep you updated on any other news. That's all I got for you guys today. Make sure you like, comment, and share this video. For more videos like this, make sure you check out the video I just dropped. My name is KBZ, and I'm coming in with another trigger warning. I shoot films, not people.